You are now listening to Fight Life Unfiltered.
Luke Rockhold is literally a model.
You're, you're making me feel a little creepy here.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, there's a
I'm
slight
happy about it.
resemblance. Slight resemblance.
I'm happy about it. I'm very
Your
happy.
face is filled out a little bit.
Yeah, my face fills out. I'm like at 160-ish.
Yeah.
So like right when I'm there, like my face starts to get puffy. But I'm also like taking creatine, which I think's holding on to the weight a little bit more. Once
Hmm.
I cut that out, I'll lose like 5 pounds.
Yeah. Are you doing like just powder? Or yeah, you've got the
Yeah, I'm
pure
on a
creatine.
hydrate.
That's right.
I do 10 grams on days I spar, 5 grams every day.
Got to get mine today. I didn't go to the
Order it from
gym this
Paul's.
morning.
Is the camera on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, order
Well,
it from Pulse. Dude, it's good. And it's honestly don't know how much it is, but it's 100 servings and it's filled all the way up to the brim. It's really, really good.
you don't have to pay for your stuff.
Now, but the only gripe I have, which is this is a great problem. I can't get the thing back in because there's so much creatine in the and I can't get the little scooper back in the bucket. So I don't know what to do with it, and I'm like bending it in half. So
Hmm.
I'm just gonna have a scoop of white powder just laying out.
What do you have kids? And you're like doing that with like formula and
Yeah, dude. Well, is it filled all the way up? I feel like they have
um
energy for
yeah,
scoop.
a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, try not to give them that off the shelf shit anyways. Keep it all normal and natural. But
Give them that straight titty,
yeah.
that titty
Oh,
milk.
dude, my freezer was filled with milk for
Yeah, just all the udders, just milking the udders 24/7.
shit comes out every
Wow,
which way. And then it's like it stops.
that's wild. I mean, my best friend, my brother just had
I was gonna
kids.
say you've been babies coming out
And
everywhere.
then my middle brother is having a kid at the end of May. So yeah, lots of titty milk going around in Columbus.
Kids are amazing. Wait,
Oh yeah.
wait. I like my parents were young when they had me. And I think about like growing like them having me young, while there's so many advantages, there's unintended disadvantages, you
Yeah.
know? And I now that like I didn't have kids until I was in my 30s and I was worried that I was too old. No.
No, ideally that's what I would do. I like with fighting, it's just like it's too selfish of a sport, in my opinion. I feel like you're doing your kid a disservice, or even your wife or whoever,
Hmm.
kind of a disservice by fighting. Um, so yeah, definitely waiting on that. Definitely waiting. But you know, did you get on camera that you said I look like Luke Rockhold? Was that on camera?
It is now.
That's crazy.
Context to that,
No,
Lucas was saying that he gains like 40 pounds. And
I'm
so
160. Chill.
no, I don't know what it was. There was like it was you had a hat on the other day, and I was like, it kind of resembles Luke Rockhold when he isn't malnourished.
Yeah, maybe it's a creatine.
It's gotta be.
Shout out Ryan Tuttle. Actually, another thing with Ryan Tuttle, I'm gonna have t-shirts coming out soon.
Like
My
underdog.
their underdog and my affiliate, my like fight happy looking logo right here. And they're sick. We have some mock-ups. We should have them out soon. Before my fight. It's the goal. And they're like super high quality, thick t-shirts. They're not like the Gildan t-shirts. That's one thing, like my last fight, make them as cheap as possible. These ones I was like, I really want like high quality stuff. I also want stuff that people are gonna wear, just like, if we have them at the closet or something, like just
Yeah.
regular people are gonna be like, yo, that's a sick logo. I'm gonna rock that. And then
Hmm.
which I think they will. Like I think people are gonna love the t-shirt. I'm really excited about it. Um, and just like kind of starting that like its own little brand almost in a way.
Hmm.
And Ryan's helped me out with that, so I'm
Who
super
designed your
excited.
logo?
Dude. So we don't really know. The dude just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. He like made the logo, got me the t-shirts, dropped them off on Memorial Day, and I've texted him multiple times to try to get like certain types of the logo so I can like send it to other people. I was just sent this logo, and I'm just like, all right, man. I keep hitting him up, so I don't
It's
know.
like you don't have like the
Tall white
tattoo
dude had
file.
some face tats. He's good at making logos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped off 100 white t-shirts in like a broken cardboard box. I was like, all right. Yeah, man, I really don't know. It's like a secret person.
Yeah. Would you ever get the logo tattooed?
Yeah, I want to actually on my leg. I want to get like a,
Right on the above your knee?
I do it like below my knee. I want to have like my right leg kind of like graffiti style stuff with like logos. Like I have the West Virginia logo, that I want to get the Henzo logo. Um just like kind of like graffiti-ish type thing with like brick background. Just like the places I've been, you know what I mean?
Kind of like stickers.
Yeah, kind of like stickers, but the person I want to have do it actually is a fan. And he's like a super high level tattoo artist, lives in Pittsburgh. His name's Seth Holmes. He does some like he does a lot of tattoos like that, and I already hit him up about it. He's supposed to be on like some big he's got some big tattoo stuff coming up, but he told me he'd grandfather me in for the price.
Nice.
So yeah. He's a cool dude.
Tattoos can get crazy
Yeah,
expensive.
how's your
It's good.
coming along? When's your next session?
I go back a week from tomorrow. So I just got back on the mats and it's like go
I have
again.
to take time off again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're banging through it though. And it's gonna look cool. We're gonna get all the black and gray finished up and then we're gonna start adding the color. It's
Nice.
gonna be similar, like a lot of black and gray with a little bit
I
of
like
color.
that. I like the like contrast. That's kind of what I want, but my leg on the other side.
Yeah. It
Um,
pops. It makes the color pop.
yeah,
And
and I love black and white as well. Like I think it just
yeah.
looks clean.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's fun. And then it's like I think I've got like two more sessions scheduled. I've got one, yeah, next Saturday, and then middle of June, and then
Okay.
I've got another one booked in August.
So those all for that arm?
So it'll take at least two more to finish the arm, and then I'll do another.
Your chest.
I'm going to do this part of my chest again, and then I told myself I was going to be done, but I was
No,
like,
you won't.
I definitely.
Are your legs
My
tattooed?
legs are not tattooed.
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna be
I
done.
think my back's next. Do the back. I've got my very first tattoo was like a dude tramp stamp, like on the
Nice.
top. 16th birthday. I was at the shop, had my mom sign the paperwork.
I feel like I might have seen it.
Yeah, it's like a tribal bird, you know.
Yeah, I got a tribal Celtic thing on
I
my
was
back.
like, how do I get that covered up? So,
Yeah, mine I'll never get covered up. My brothers have the same tattoo. I can't.
okay.
You
should see my brother's tattoo.
dude, mine looks way better than my brother's. They got like just it's all black and gross, and mine's like shaded real nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you met second oldest brother.
Okay.
Third oldest brother lives in LA. It's who I partner with on the Zippo stuff. I sold alarm systems back in the day. It was like one of my first gigs. I knocked door.
Yeah, I'm always hearing about a different job you have.
Door to door. I was selling people alarm systems.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, hey, I want to hook up my brothers. So I was like, why don't you guys come out and sell alarms? Well, he tried it. He didn't like it, but there was installers. So like I would go sell an alarm. You might be the install guy. After I sold the alarm, you were waiting around the corner in your car. You'd come, drill a hole in their wall, put a panel up, and start hooking it up. So I mean, they could make some nice cash as an installer.
Yeah.
They got paid like, $60 for every installation. And
That's pretty good.
yeah, I mean, there's days where I would sell 3 or 4 of them in a day. You made a lot more money
It's good to zip out.
selling the alarm and having to deal
Yeah.
with pissed off husbands or, kids of old people who you would maybe sell an alarm system to.
Yeah.
But he was like, I wouldn't mind doing the installation. So like, long story short, I got him into the program. they wanted him to go out to Utah because it's all based on Utah door-to-door Mormon missionaries.
Nice.
They had started like they went from selling people religion to selling them alarms or pest control or all kinds of stuff. So they're like, hey, come out to Salt Lake City, do a training course. My brother was like a massive pothead. Hence his Instagram handle, Doobie Jones.
Oh yeah, I know Diego Jones on Instagram. Yep.
So he was 16 or 17, and it was the summer. Flew out. They got him a ticket to Salt Lake.
I got a tattoo.
Well, he he went to a head shop looking for weed or K2. Remember, since synthetic weed,
yeah,
so bad for you. But he was like, I've got to find something. So he went to the head shop. They were like, we don't sell it. Some dude was standing in there, was like, I've got you. Come over to my place.
Jesus
Dude's
Christ.
name was Third Eye. He was a brother that was a gangbanger
Third Eye
and was
Third
very
Eye.
gracious to have my brother come over to his place. They'd smoke a blunt. He was a rapper, so he would have my brother listen to his music. And then he was also a tattoo artist or a up and coming tattoo artist, and was like, hey, how about this? I won't charge you for all the weed you smoke.
You let me use your skin.
You let me do a tattoo on your back. So threw a chair in the kitchen. My brother said the day before he was supposed to leave, he was like, let's go. So they started, and it says his name, Jones, on his back. I wouldn't be putting it in a tattoo museum. So
Third Eye.
Third Eye. We always ask him, like, dude, do you think Third Eye's still alive? And if so, do you think he's doing tattoos, or was that just like a couple months of like
Yeah, I was just into it for a couple
couple
months.
months and was like,
Dude, that's a wild thing to just like. I had a friend in college. He got a tattoo gun on Amazon and just started tattooing everybody.
really?
Yeah, and he wasn't bad. He would tattoo himself, like on his arm. I had a tattoo. I had a little Wu-Tang tattoo he drew on me. Luke Martin has like a couple
From him?
from him. I don't know if Ramirez had like we were all just getting little tattoos all the time, like
Mhm.
goofy shit or whatever. But he yeah, those little like friend.
It's
That's a good time to get a tattoo.
It
Get
kind-
covered up. I got mine covered up.
Yeah, right. Like it's interesting. This is an interesting topic because I think in a way, I'm linking it back to fighting, right? Because I too have a friend that randomly was like, I'm going to start tattooing. Now, I never got a tattoo from him, but he started out doing his own leg.
Yeah.
He now has a really full leg sleeve. And I want to say this, like, it's not bad. He's for a guy that was never an artist or into tattoos to in your 30s buy all the equipment on Amazon and start tattooing. Like, I gotta say, like, okay, it's not bad. But he's not a professional. And when I went and got my sleeve done, he sent me a message and was like, oh, like you should have hit me up. Like, no.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I'm not gonna hit you up.
There's
I want
yeah.
it as best as I possibly
There's levels
can.
to it, right?
But I don't want to be critical because the best in the world, and like when I talked with my guy Corey, we've talked about tattooing, and he was that level of skill. He was that guy that was just starting tattooing, and he
Yeah, I mean, you gotta
stuck with
start
it.
somewhere.
And it's the same as fighting, right?
Yeah, my buddy Ethan Hayes, he wants to come on the podcast. He was the pro fighter. I used to live in Morgantown. He'd drive me up here all the time. Super good dude. Can't speak like better about the guy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he can't speak English.
No, he's great. I know. He thinks he's Nate Diaz, white Nate Diaz.
Oh, well, okay.
But he speaks very proper English for a guy from Preston County, West Virginia. But his like best friend Jake ended up in like Inked magazine. He's like super, super good tattoo artist. And Ethan like was kind of just his like template for a long ass time. But it paid off because Ethan just still gets free tattoos from the dude or really discounted tattoos because this dude was letting him tattoo him when he was 18. They're just like, little like kids fucking off.
Yeah.
And now Ethan has like one of the, like you look up Jake I think it's hand snake tattoos or something. Morgantown, West Virginia. He's like a very, very well-known tattoo artist, has his own specific style and stuff.
Mm.
And Ethan's covered in tattoos. But I mean, some of his tattoos are like the best tattoos you've ever seen because he let this dude kind of just like, develop over the time. So that's it's funny. Tattoos are, it's just like anything else. It takes time to get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's talent, but obviously you got to work hard.
So you know that Greg Overton that does all the Native American painting.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we talked about is he tried to be a tattoo artist.
Mm.
And he was not very good at it. And I've talked with Corey about this, and he's excuse me, he's told me how just being good at drawing doesn't translate to being good at tattooing. Like the skill of tattooing in and of itself is completely different than drawing. And there are people who are really successful tattoo artists that can't draw.
I think that, and I
That
also
scares me.
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to like somebody's gonna give me a tattoo
Yeah,
and I see a picture of a puppy and it has like
this
5
is
years.
all
I'm gonna
like
be
freehand
scared.
stuff.
That's fucking nuts.
And so like he drew, I'm sure he took elements of like, okay, I'm gonna do this or that, but
Yeah.
half of what he put on me, he just drew
I wonder how much of it's like kind of
in the
weird.
moment.
This is weird, but it's like it's a mental thing. Like
Yeah.
to go from just drawing on paper to drawing on somebody's skin, right? And that adjustment and like the fear of fucking it up.
Well, and paper's flat. You know,
Paper
one of the
is
things
flat.
that I think makes this really stand out is the placement, like where he put the tiger's head. And like, because you could put something that's really drawn
like
technically
yeah.
well, but if it doesn't flow,
Yeah.
that's a big part of it, being able to like
Yeah.
acquiesce to a human body.
I love people that are good at like just random shit or like just
Yeah.
like they have their own like niche, you know what I mean?
Do you think that translates into MMA for you and like loving the art? Because
Oh yeah,
martial art,
100%.
right?
I
Like
love
it's an
the
art.
with MMA
Tattooing's an art.
with MMA, I love the development, I love the art, I love the getting better, I love the watching specific fights and then for a week I'm fighting like this guy and then I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that's shit I like the constant learning of it, I think is something I really, really enjoy about MMA. And it's not that it wasn't like that when I wrestled, but wrestling, like, there's only so much,
Mhm.
right? Eventually, it's just let's hit a single leg. All right, let your hand placement has to be 2 inches up. Like, all right, man, well, let's learn something fucking new. I've been doing this since I was 8. With MMA, it's like there's so much to learn, and there's no way you're gonna learn it in this 10 years. So it's like you got to pick and choose and kind of Taporia, his podcast kind of opened my mind yesterday where he was talking about in the like out of a fight when he's out of camp, he focuses specifically on boxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu separately. And then when he goes into camp, that's his time to blend the skills that he learned into MMA. And then he jumps back out. And he's leveling up in each little subcategory, basically, out of camp. And then when he's in camp, he pieces it back together.
And you're probably piecing it together also in line with your strategy for the fight.
Mhm.
So you're growing your skills individually.
Yes.
And then you're coming and saying, okay, how do I take these skills that are now better than last time and putting them together in a recipe that's going to beat Lucas or that's going to beat this person, right?
Yeah, and I think we do something similar, like especially with Will and Mike. Like we have blocks, right, where we're learning specific shit. But I think like the way he broke it down, I've never heard somebody explain it like that. And I really like Taporia. I wasn't a Taporia fan before because I love his fighting style, but listening to that podcast definitely changed my perspective of him. I didn't know he could speak English. I like the dude's super like quiet and humble. So I just straight up assumed he, habla inglés, you know what I mean? And he speaks very, very well, like very, very well. There was only a couple times where he was like, "What's the word for guard?" And Rogan was like would explain it to him, but he just straight up speaks very, very fluent English. Super cool dude, it seems like.
He snuck onto the scene, I feel
He
like.
just exploded.
Right? And
But
that's a part of it. You didn't get an opportunity to like even with Connor. Connor exploded,
yeah.
but I knew who Connor was before Connor was Connor.
Yeah, dude, the crazy thing about Taporia is I went and followed him on Instagram. He has 7.5 million followers. The biggest guys in America don't like Israel Adesanya probably doesn't have that much. Sean O'Malley definitely doesn't. Like the biggest fighters in the world, like he's like 5 times as big as
He's
them.
like a Ronaldo type
That's
character.
fucking crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know about him, and now he's getting the American backing as well. Like that dude he's big. He's big, big.
I mean, it's definitely a collision course between him and Islam,
Yeah, I think they're gonna match.
unless Islam goes up.
I
But
think
I
they're
don't
gonna
think
match.
Islam goes up.
I think Islam goes up if I think he'll go up.
Do you think he'll fight
I think
Ilya at all?
I don't know.
I mean, I can see him
Maybe.
going up.
I don't
I hope he doesn't leave 155 before.
Taporia comes.
Yeah, I think that's it's a banger of a
like
fight.
as much as I think Taporia is very, very talented, I just think there's a big size discrepancy between the two. Like I think Islam's a
He is big.
huge 155. I think that eventually, I think there's this new star that's been around for a while that everybody was talking crap about that is going to fight Ilia Topuria, and that's Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah.
I think Paddy Pimblett and Topuria, I mean, those are the biggest stars in the UFC.
So
now,
here's a question though. I think Paddy's even bigger than
Topuria?
Islam.
Yeah. Well,
Paddy is humongous.
oh, physically?
Just a frame.
Oh, yeah.
He's a
I
bigger,
agree.
He's
I
big.
agree.
He's not at the skill level as Islam, but I actually think it's a lot closer.
Oh, yeah.
I think Paddy's way
Paddy's very
underrated.
Paddy is very, very good. He also just like he has this wild thing about him. I think it's because he genuinely believes he can't be knocked. Dude, I love that.
Bro, how
Dude,
can you not
I
like
love
that,
him.
dude?
I love him.
I really love him after
Yeah,
this weekend.
dude. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Um, he just fucking does. I think he genuinely believes he can't get knocked out, right? So let's start there. Like,
Yeah.
if you actually believe you can't get knocked out, you're gonna fight a little bit crazier, right? And he's like in Cage Warriors, he was throwing flying triangles and doing all this stuff. And he's still doing that, but he's gotten better. Like way better. He had like I don't want to say amateur level striking because he was in the UFC and he made it that far, but like his striking 2 years ago was not that of a normal UFC fighter, but his hype and his grappling. He always had the grappling was there, so he kind of propelled really fast. And I think that fight was it Jared Gordon that he beat
Yeah.
that everybody was right.
Jared Gordon won that fight, I thought.
I remember watching it and like not knowing going to the scorecard, but I thought Paddy lost. I think it flipped the switch in him. I think that along with having his kids, like it flipped the switch and he's like taken off. And he beat Michael Chandler worse than anybody has beaten Michael Chandler. Here's one thing, especially, you being a Michael Chandler hater, that we need to talk about. Michael Chandler is what, 2-4 in the UFC?
Yeah.
Paddy Pimblett's the first dude he fought outside of the top 3. That's the best resume.
Where was Tony?
Tony would have been outside of it.
Right? He beat Tony.
He's the first dude he lost to outside of the top 3.
Yeah, because I was gonna say he beat Tony and he beat Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, I have an immense amount of respect for.
He finished Dan Hooker, and that doesn't happen.
I think I want to see him and Dan Hooker fight again, and I think Dan Hooker gets that back.
I could see that happen.
But I think Chandler is on the downside of his
I think so
career.
too, and I hope the UFC does Chandler right because he stepped up and fought everybody that he was asked to fight.
He's still standing there waiting for that.
I don't want him to fight Conor. I think there's a small shot if Conor comes back, he fights Paddy. I think Paddy's waiting on one of these other superstars. I think Conor versus Paddy might be the biggest fight in UFC history. I also think Ilia Topuria versus Paddy might be the biggest fight in UFC history.
There's animosity there. There's something brewing, right? I mean, I like the idea of, and again, this is speaking crazy talk because, in fairness, like Conor hasn't shown anybody anything.
Yeah,
He's coming off of an injury that you can almost argue he shouldn't come back from. He
yeah,
hasn't
I
been
agree.
tested. How much is he? But like crazy world, right? You get Ilya to fight Paddy. You've got Islam and Conor. Islam's tied to Khabib.
I don't think they do Conor with Islam. I think they'd have Conor fight either Ilya or Paddy. But I do think Conor is somewhat in the mix. Like, there's no way that even Ilya said it on the podcast, like Conor was offered at one point. There's no way that there's all this money floating around and they're not offering Ilya and Paddy Conor McGregor. There's no way. There's no way, even if it's like a hypothetical thing, there's absolutely no way that that's not on the table in some capacity.
Why then no Conor in the ring?
What do you mean?
Like, why isn't he fighting? If these have been offered, I wonder how serious the offers have been.
I don't think. I think the UFC, because they still have him on contract. He's
Yeah.
technically an employee,
Yeah.
right? So they're gonna offer it, and then they're gonna hit him up. And if it gets Conor to want to, like, if they call Conor up and he's in Ireland, blacked out, drunk, and he's like, "I'll fight Paddy the Baddy," right? And then he starts training. That's all it takes.
What do you think he's been waiting for?
Somebody that gets him excited. Somebody that like gets him to want to actually jump back into the sport full-fledged. That makes sense,
Why
right?
not do the Chandler fight then? Because to me, that was
I don't
that
think
was
Chandler got him excited. Like, Chandler at that point had a 50-50 record. He's scary as shit. And he's like, it just, he doesn't have like a huge following. I honestly would argue Chandler has more haters than he does followers, especially at this point, which I think is insane because Chandler's a super good dude. But I think that didn't get him excited. I think what would get him excited is Paddy the Bad. I really think Conor McGregor, at least the Conor McGregor on the come up, would look at Paddy and say Paddy sucks. And I mean, I think Paddy's skill for skill
I
is
think
better
Paddy
than Conor.
chokes
But
out Conor in 3 rounds or less.
oh yeah, I agree. I agree. But I do think, like, if you're gonna give a style matchup,
Mhm.
I think Paddy has some holes in his striking, and he's not shouldn't be an offensive grappler, right? Most of his grappling stuff comes from defensive stuff, and
Yeah.
what Conor McGregor is not going to engage in. So if you look at the X's and O's of that fight favors Conor in like that sense. I don't think he would win, but I do think there is a like, if I'm Conor and you're like, hey, you can fight all these people. You can fight Topuria, who's good at everything. He's probably gonna knock you the fuck out. You can fight Islam, who's gonna wrestle fuck you, or you can fight Paddy, who you can maybe starch and probably not gonna be able to take you down like super well. He did take Chandler down, but like Paddy hasn't shown a ton of offensive grappling. I think that fight makes sense if they do Conor. If Conor comes back.
It's interesting because weight classes dictate a lot of this. Conor's bigger. He's not going to go down and fight lower, but I think it's deceiving because Paddy is a big 155er and Conor is a small. I still think Conor is a small guy, like a smaller frame who is built up
Yeah.
to be bigger, right? As opposed to a big guy. Like I could see Paddy fighting 185 late in his career because he has the frame
Yeah.
to carry that. Where
A big frame.
to me, that's
I don't think the fight. I think if they do it, I don't think it happens at 155. I bet they do
170
like a
or a
170,
catchweight.
even a catch weight of 65. Connor's big. He's probably gonna not want to cut that much weight. It doesn't mess up Paddy if he loses in the rankings that he has worked his ass off for. I think there's a small shot, right, that happens.
Yeah.
I also think we're looking at maybe Paddy versus Gaethje. I know that's like a lot of people are saying that one makes sense.
That'd be an interesting fight. I don't think we see Conor fight again. I think there's a better chance of seeing Conor win the election and become the next president of Ireland before we see him win a
I
UFC
don't. I
fight.
think there's zero chance that happens. I think I don't know. What do you think's higher probability? Conor competing in slap fighting or the UFC?
Bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle before the UFC.
At this point, I just don't. I don't see it happening.
I actually think I really think Connor's going to fight one more time in the UFC. I really do. And I think it'll be his last fight, and I think it'll be a big name like that. And I think he's going to go out on a shield against somebody that is going to take his hype from the beginning. I think it's going to be an Ilya or Paddy. I really do. I think
I just don't want to see,
sense.
or I don't think Connor wants to see himself go out with another loss. And all of the guys with big hype. And I know as a fighter, you're not thinking you're going to lose. But I'm a Connor fan. Have been. I'm less of a Connor fan. Just I don't know. Something's changed. The money's made him change. There's just no denying it.
Yeah, I mean,
the injury, the money, whatever. I don't think he beats Paddy. I don't think he beats Ilya. I don't think he can beat Islam. Who does he fight? Like if it's going to take this big name to get him interested to fight,
I think it's one of those three people. I don't think
and he loses.
Otherwise.
And I think he has to know that he's at a disadvantage to fight any of them. He's now an owner in bare knuckle.
I think he thinks he could beat Paddy. I think he probably doesn't think he could beat Islam, and he knows he probably doesn't think he can beat Ilya, and he knows he can't beat Islam. But I think he believes he could beat Paddy. But who knows? Let's talk about the card because I hate when I go on YouTube and everything's about fucking Conor McGregor and he hasn't fought in 5 years, right? Well, let's pull up the card from what was it? UFC 3. I don't know the numbers.
314?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it was in Miami, 314.
Yeah, so the main card?
Yeah, main card. Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
Went from 0-4 to 3-0.
Dude.
That's sick. Knocked out, step back.
That was slick.
Perfect timing. Super happy for him, man. Who was he fighting?
Krylov.
Yeah. Who had some hype coming in.
Yeah.
He was like an up and comer. They were trying to feed Dominic Reyes.
30-9.
Trying to feed Dominic Reyes a little bit, and he put a halt to it. I could see him coming back at light heavyweight and getting into title contention. Who's the champ there now? Pereira?
Light heavyweight is Pereira.
No, wait, Pereira just lost.
Oh yeah, shit, no.
So what's his name? I got
Ankalaev.
That's his name, sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't pay attention to light heavyweight. I'm still remember Dominic Reyes from when John Jones was there.
Yeah, John Jones is the light heavyweight champ, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And then who was next? It was
Bryce Mitchell fight.
First off.
Unconscious.
Yeah.
Which I'll give him credit, man. Like you fell on your shield.
Yeah. He looked terrible, which sucks because I think his skill level's not that. Like I think he could have fought well. I think all the side stuff got to him. I don't want to say
I feel like it's gotten to him over
the course of I heard John was talking about it, and he was talking about not sleeping, and he was like, I'm not betting on him if he's not sleeping. And he was like legitimately talking about like aliens and all this. I don't know, man. I hope he takes some time off, figures out his life, bounces back in a year. I think if he got really quiet, doesn't talk for like a year, just works on his skills, gets back in the gym, feeds his chickens, does whatever he's got to do, and then comes back in a year, he should be able to still fight somebody in the rankings and make his way up. So I think Bryce Mitchell's skill is good. I think his striking is way better than he showed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's like Ilya Topuria, but I think his striking's good.
There's got to be something that plays into this, though, because you see people, especially when they start to lose. You're right. You watch a movie, like a Rocky type of movie, and when something like that happens, the storyline that's always created is they go into hibernation.
Yeah,
they disappear, and that's what then you come out of that and you win, and it's like, wow, you did this. And there's a couple of examples in the UFC where that's been the case, where people have just kind of gone dark and then they come back and
Yeah.
they
I mean,
win.
it makes sense. Like you're revamping your mind,
Yeah.
kind of like,
But it doesn't happen very often. And there's like bait where you get people. Colby Covington is one where I'm like, there's a moment in time where, okay, you decided to take the shtick. You're the bad guy. You do this. You hype it up. Like I have no ill will towards anybody that wants to play a character, even Michael Chandler. Like play your character because I think this is relevant for him too. But there's like a self-awareness where at some point in time you've got to say, okay, I've lost X, Y, and Z fights.
yeah,
It's time for me
I
to
agree.
turn that distraction off, go dark and come back. But it's like they can't do it. It's almost like it's a crutch. And I think it speaks to their mental because when they can't untie themselves from that, to me, it says, I don't believe that I can come back and win and get the attention again. So I'm going to kind of still hedge my bet. I don't want to lose relevancy. And you wouldn't lose relevancy if you just disappeared for 6 months and came back and fucked some people up.
You know who is in the middle of this right now, and nobody ever would have guessed it because they care so much about fighting, and everybody thought they cared so much about the other shit. Is Sean O'Malley?
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley fucking stopped doing YouTube. He stopped doing all the stuff that brought him up on the way.
1,000%.
He gave his page and all this stuff to his homies that run it,
Yep.
and was like, "I'm dialing in. I'm getting this surgery. I'm buying all this stuff."
Fighting
and
is
now,
the most important thing.
Yeah,
for
fighting
him.
is the
and
most
he
important
wants to
thing
go
for
out
him.
and win, and he realizes like I will if I come back and win, I will be way bigger than if I try to remain relevant because I'm worried that I'm going to lose.
Yeah, and he might have learned something from Conor McGregor there. And it takes people fucking up and learning from the other people to do that, right? I think Conor always try to like keep his relevancy throughout his career. And I think the guys now can learn from that, right? You're only relevant if you're winning. This sport only matters if you're winning.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you if you're losing. That's the reality of it. And I think if Sean goes and knocks out Merab, his loss to Merab is going to be the best thing that ever happened to him, and his entire hype train gets bigger than it ever could have been.
1,000%. And then you can lean back into all the things that you need.
Yeah, and then he can go back,
get rid of the
podcast
distractions,
and
go and find your shit, and it's just I don't. You nailed it with that. That's a really good example.
Yeah. And it's because I follow him and I was a huge fan, and then I'm like, damn, there's no more content. There's none of this shit. And it's like, as a fan, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I want you to go out and have your best performance. But let's get back to Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell needs to like just 5 grams of mushrooms straight to the dome, go on a fishing trip with Hitler, and just come back in 6 months and be a better version of himself, right? He needs to just like kind of have like he just needs to go not go off the deep and not go off the rails. He needs to just get behind the scenes, grind, get with a really good striking coach because his grappling is really good. Work on his skills for like a year and then come back. Because I think if there's 15 guys that can like at his weight class, I think he's like in the top 15. Like I think he's one of the guys that can be champs. I think people ranked in top 15. Like there's guys that are gonna peak at 13. I don't think Bryce Mitchell's that guy. I think Bryce Mitchell's made it very, very far off of talent. But he needs to develop a little bit more of that skill.
Who does he train with?
So I know one of his.
Does he have I don't associate Bryce Mitchell with like
I think he's
team.
like. I don't really know. I know Chris Williams worked with him. I've met Bryce Mitchell. I think twice maybe. He's came to the UFC gym. Chris Williams brought him in. Out of Pittsburgh, boxing coach. I don't know who he works with in Arkansas. I would imagine whoever his grappling coach is pretty good. But I think that might be something. Like if you really want to progress in this game, you really want to make it. Like I love loyalty, I love all that stuff. But I mean, you're in Arkansas. You're not that far away from Florida or Texas, right? You can go find a gym that you can get better at. And if we keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, you're not gonna make it.
I almost think there's just as much of that tied to the persona as well. When you're at a bigger gym with a lot of other people, you may have influence from folks to kind of like get you back in the right. But if you're just isolated and
Yeah.
you're still, it's like, who are you with? You're probably with like these 3 or 4 people
Yes,
who
man.
are just, 100% just leaning in. Think about like if you had a skid like that, even here, you would have people.
If I had a skid like that here, I would
People would
have.
be like, yo, dude, like enough with the like chill out and like get fucking focused.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I have coaches that would be like, maybe you need to go to a different gym. Like that's the level of loyalty you need. You
Yeah.
can't be surrounded by yes men. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But moving on from Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva, is that his name?
Yeah, Gene or John, I don't know how you
I don't
pronounce
care.
it.
I think he's the cringiest dude in the UFC now. I think he passed Henry Cejudo. And is he talented? Yes. I love the fighting nerds. I think they should win all the awards this year. They're amazing. Personally, I love Protez. I love Rufy, who's the other dude with the neck tattoo.
Yep.
Big fan of that guy.
Looks like Paulo Costa.
Yeah. Gene Silva. I'm not down with it. I understand he had childhood trauma, which definitely the best base for MMA is childhood trauma. That's 100%. But the barking, it's kind of cool, right? I like that, right? How you have something people can get behind. Everybody knows him because he barks, right? But jumping on the cage like 12 times and making sure the cameraman gets it, I'm out. I'm so out. I don't want to watch it. It's bad. It's so cringy. I can't watch it. You ever watch? I get like very. What would it be called? Like I get secondhand embarrassment really easily, where I can like, I watch somebody do something. I'll fast forward in TV shows. If I see like somebody's saying something or they're arguing, I know they're wrong or it's just cringy for me, I'll fast forward that part.
Yeah.
I wish I could have fast forwarded Gene Silva's entire thing, only watch him fight and then get out. He is, whatever feelings you feel about Michael Chandler, that is the way I am with Gene Silva. Like I get
you can see that it's only going to get worse with him too.
Oh my God, dude,
he's associating that with like, okay, here's my chance. I'm going to lean into it even more.
You do get a chance, right? And like we had Kyle on with the dancing thing, right? Cool, right? He danced, camera got him. You can't be like, yo, camera guy, I messed up. I messed up again. Like, that's not how this works. You get one shot, you mess up, move on, right? You don't bark on the cage 20 times. It's ridiculous. It made me so angry. It's just like, it upsets me. But he's good and stuff, and the ninja choke was sick. Ninja chokes are great. Personally, I love ninja chokes. If you listen to your coaches, might give me a subtle shout out on the ninja chokes. I like them. They're really good technique, especially on the wall.
I'll show you.
I think they knew Bryce
I've
Mitchell
got a
was
really
hang out
interesting
there.
variation of like a ninja choke that I have a lot of success with.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that particular technique, I was watching it with my buddy Taylor Charlo. This is a shout out that like nobody's paying for me or giving, I don't know. Rival in Bridgeville is the best bar to watch MMA fights.
Really?
Everybody there's an actual MMA fan. It's like targeted towards MMA. There's like cages in
Rival?
Yeah, it's called Rival in Bridgeville. It's like 15 minutes, 10 minutes away from the gym. So I'm watching it there with Taylor Charlo, and I'm like, man, Bryce Mitchell keeps shooting this. Bryce goes open stance, head outside, single leg, which typically you wouldn't do. And Gene could post on his head, get his leg out every single time.
What is the reason you would do that? Is it you're worried about a knee coming up the middle? Or
so if you're in open stance, if you get your head on the outside, there's not too much of a threat of strikes, but your head and your entire body is disconnected from the person you're going unless you really, really blast it with full momentum
and really turn the corner
and switch stances, right? That's a big thing. If I throw a double leg, if I'm in open stance, say I'm southpaw, you're orthodox, I throw my left hand and I switch, my left foot lands while I'm going into a double leg, my left ear is on the hip. It's much easier to drive that way, right? To get a double leg with your head disc or a high crotch, right, with your head disconnected from the ear, they're just going to post and get away. So the whole time I was like, he needs to shoot a head inside single. It's not Bryce has he must be ungodly strong because I watched his fights coming up. I watched like a bunch of stuff about Bryce Mitchell going in this fight. That's his shot. He goes head outside single every single time. I don't know how he finishes, but he does. I think he finds the wall most times. And he fights out of guillotines, right? He's willing to fight out, which he did. And then I was like, he needs to shoot this head inside single. He needs to get there. He shot a head outside single. Gene Silva, no, granted, I'm not a huge fan. I think elbowed him directly in the spine, but Bryce Mitchell shoots his head to the inside. As soon as he shoots his head to the inside, Gene gets that deep grip, and it was
done.
Game over from there. So he was playing that game. I personally, when somebody shoots a head inside or head outside, I love blasting the hips, pushing it inside, and stuffing the head down. In wrestling, that was what I always did. Or vice versa, if they shoot a head inside, saying, well, I push it outside. Because typically, especially in wrestling, I don't know as much in MMA because people shoot to both legs. It's their bad side, right? I typically shoot a head. If I'm left leg lead, I shoot a high crotch with my head on this side, right? If you switch it, now I'm defending my bad side. I don't usually finish
putting them into a spot.
Yeah. So as soon as he did it, like Gene Silva was playing chess, just immediately wrapped up that ninja choke, and I think they knew that was going to be there. And then he finished him and barked at him and stuff, so that was fun.
Yeah, he's tough, man. I lost. That was one of the parlays I had. I put $30 on
Bryce's. I had the entire card except
10 fucking fight parlays, and I had 2 of them that I had one fight wrong, and Bryce Mitchell was one of them.
Yeah, I picked Bryce Mitchell for because I like to root for people that everybody's rooting against, right? Yeah. I felt like the world was against Bryce Mitchell, and I wanted him to have success, right?
Yeah.
People say stupid stuff. And I didn't know that he was going to be that timid. It's just wild. He
didn't seem like he was confident.
He looked terrified. Yeah. On the feet, which sucks. And then who was next?
Yair Rodriguez and Pitbull.
Yair. Dude.
He's not gone anywhere.
No. And Yair, when I was talking about people whose potential can be UFC champion, but I'm not 100% sure. Yair's one of those guys where I don't know if he'll ever be champ. I think he's kind of like stuck in that like 2 to 5 spot for the rest of his career. And it's tough to say that because he's so entertaining and I want him to be the champion. But I think he's too content with playing guard a lot of times, and and that this is also something that I think it was Diego Lopes's why Diego Lopes lost. But I think Yair's like kind of okay with being on his back.
Yeah.
He's super dangerous. He's so fun to watch. And honestly, I hope he like gets a little bit of offensive wrestling to where he can be like a threat there, because I think if he adds that, like, he can be champion. But he's so goddamn entertaining.
Well, I mean, speaking of Diego, there was a little bit of like
they fight each other next.
That's got to be the fight, right? They got into it at the weigh-in, the press conference.
Dude, they were yelling. I didn't understand a thing, and I was like, "Let's go, let's fight right now." Because I like them.
And both. It seemed like a legit.
Oh, they don't like each other.
Like the way Yair was talking to him, he was like he wasn't just barking to like bark at him. He was like
Gene Silva barking.
There was like a hold on, bro. Like there's something going on.
One of them, I don't know the exact details, but they trained together in like Wisconsin, like next to each other or something.
What are the odds of those two?
I don't know.
Randomly training in like Wisconsin.
But they've always been like around each other. But like they might have trained together at some point. I think it was Rufus Sport. That might be why. And they train together. I don't know. They have some beef that I speak English. I don't understand. But I am on board for and would love to watch them fight.
That's got to be the next fight.
Bang it out. Dude, honestly, as far as fights at featherweight, that's the one I want more than anything. I don't care about anything else. I don't care if Alex is fighting. I really don't care. But Yair went in and put a halt to We thought Pitbull might come in as a Bellator guy.
Some of the discussions as we were talking about the people coming over from PFL and Bellator, was it Mike or Will or Max? One of them was saying that they felt that Pitbull was the best out of all of those and had the highest likelihood of becoming
I
champion.
disagree completely. I think it's Aaron Pico, and I think Aaron Pico could still be champion.
Ooh.
I was listening to Aaron Pico on Kamaru Usman and Henry's podcast when you got here.
Pico is a freak.
He's also 28 years old.
Yeah.
I thought he was way older.
Dude, that kid's wrestling is, but I
Dude.
don't know, there's something about him that I feel underperformed. I know there were some injuries in there, right?
Yeah. So he was 20 years old. He made his Bellator debut at Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Pico was the LeBron of MMA. Like, it was like, all right, we have this dude. He's a Golden Gloves boxer, right? He was such a good wrestler. He was the Olympic alternate in 2016. He would have been 17 years old, I think.
He was a California state champ, right?
He was a freshman California
Then he
state
dropped
champ,
out.
and then he was just like, nah, I'm just gonna focus on wrestling the best people in the world, not high schoolers. That's how good he was.
And then he trains down in Orange County at that house.
Yeah,
with
the training lab with TJ.
Yeah.
Right. He came up with TJ. But before that, he trained at the Olympic Training Center and was gearing up, and he beat some of the best wrestlers in American history. Like, he was competing with all these guys. He was competing with the Jordan Bros, is not the same weight class, but he was competing with, he beat Jordan Oliver. He beat all these guys, right? At 17 years old, he beat Jordan Oliver, who was a 2-time, could have been a 3-time national champion, depending on some calls. And Aaron Pico forgoes being in the Olympics, basically. He was like 2016 to 2022. That's 4 years. That sounds like too much. I'm going to get bored. I'm just going to fight people. Signs with Bellator. His Bellator card that he fought on for his debut is the biggest Bellator card ever. And I know that because I would have been like, I don't know, 16. And I went to a movie theater to watch it. It was at a movie theater. They're playing it at movie theaters. And Aaron Pico was like the main reason. He was the big attraction. I think Fedor fought somebody on the card as well. And Aaron Pico goes, he lights the kid up for a couple seconds and then gets caught in a submission. And then he said on this podcast, he immediately left the fight and went and bought a horse.
Zach Freeman. So he fought.
Yeah. And the dude wasn't like stellar by any means, right?
24 seconds into the first round.
Yeah. So Pico came out, they're banging, and then one of them shot, Pico gets caught, right? He got subbed in that fight, right?
Yeah.
But Pico immediately after he loses goes and fights or goes and buys a horse or something and kind of just like revamps his life, right? Because he's a young kid. He's like 20 years old and he's like dealing with all this fame and stuff. And then Pico goes and I think he took a couple losses early in his career and people counted him out. But I think he's at the point where I've never seen somebody have this like battle-tested career. Like, there's nobody ever at 28 years old that has had such a battle-tested career and made it to this point. Like, he has, 3 losses? What's his record?
Yeah.
12-3, I would guess.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm looking at that card. That was a good card, yeah. Matt Mitrione beat Fedor.
Yeah.
Neiman Gracie won. Chael Sonnen and Wanderlei Silva were the main event. You know who else lost on that fight? Or on that card?
Who?
By KO? Michael Chandler. Lost to Brent Price.
Oh my God, that's when his foot shut off.
Yeah.
That's when his foot didn't work.
Yeah, ankle injury.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember being in a movie theater, and that was when I became a Michael Chandler fan because he was trying to fight through it. Yeah. And you still beefing with him. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I just happened to notice that he had lost on that card.
But Pico, like I was saying, dude, as far as battle tested, I don't think anybody's ever been as battle tested. Kid's been competing at the highest level since he was 14.
Something just says to me about him that, and I hope I'm wrong because I'm a fan of Pico. I love everything about what he stands for, the journey.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something that kind of makes me feel like he's going to be that kid where it's just like, man, there was so much potential there, but just kind of had some bad breaks and it never really panned out to be like we're always going to be saying, yeah, when he was 17, he was such a great wrestler. He left like all these things that he had done, and not Aaron Pico was a UFC champion.
I would agree with you if he was 34.
Yeah.
But
No, he's got a lot of time.
He's
You're right.
28. He has a ton of time. He's probably the youngest dude in that division that's contending for a title. I don't know how old Yair is or Diego is. I would imagine they're around the same age. Like
Mhm.
and how old's Volk? 36,
Yeah, he's old.
right?
He'll
So
have 2 or 3 more fights, I think.
yeah. Um, yeah, we're getting there. But I don't know. I think Pico can come in. Yair impressed me. Let's move on. Who's the next fight?
Paddy Pimblett.
Paddy the Baddy, UFC's biggest star.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say, man. That was incredible.
Complete domination.
Yeah, I'm a big Paddy fan. I was sending Brittany videos when I was I was doing it the whole day leading up to the fight. Dude, I think he's just like he's got something about him. He's charismatic.
I think Michael Chandler should reevaluate his career, and this is kind of obviously yeah, everybody knows my thoughts.
Should he go on the fishing trip too?
He should go and just fucking lean into the WWE. Go over to the WWE. TKO owns WWE. I think Michael Chandler at this point in time better WWE wrestler than UFC fighter.
I mean, I think the UFC should do him right and give him a fight, like kind of what they did with Ferguson, or what they when they gave him a Ferguson fight, where they're like, "Hey, dude, you've done us a lot of favors. Connor's obviously blue balled you. We're gonna let you Spartan kick Tony Ferguson's face off."
Yeah.
And I think that he should fight somebody that he can kind of
I just
be a
hope he
favorite
doesn't
of.
become a commentator. Don't want him as a commentator. I don't want to have to listen to him.
But you
talk
just
all the time.
hate him.
I just don't want to listen to it all the time. See,
Dude,
even still, comment. Okay, go off, sail off into your boat. Don't put "see you at the top." Please stop with the "see you at the top." I saw somebody that was like, "I can't handle the "see you at the top." All you've done is run to the bottom. Just, and I get it. It's not just that. The guy is. This is the same as my hate for Brendan Schaub. Like, it's hate in a place where I have immense respect. I don't, and it just doesn't seem like I have much respect.
yeah,
I respect the fact that he is an extremely talented athlete. He is a dog. He went out there. He's never shied away from running into the fire. Go be a WWE superstar. Just go be a WWE superstar.
I feel like he's too small to do that. He's built.
Now, who's talking shit?
No, I don't think he's big enough to be in the WWE.
Rey
He's
Mysterio Jr.
like 6'2". He's like 5'6". I don't know how big he is. He looked that's one thing that I noticed immediately when they
He
came
looked
out there.
small.
He looked way smaller than Paddy.
Paddy's huge.
Paddy's huge. Chandler looked way smaller than him. And obviously he's never going to go down to 45. I just think they should give him somebody. Pull up the rankings. Who should we match Chandler up with? I want Chandler to knock somebody out, retire, yell "see you at the top" one more time, and maybe go to the WWE.
So, lightweight rankings. You got Islam, Armin, Charles,
No,
Gaethje,
no,
Max,
no,
Poirier,
no,
Dan Hooker,
no. Where's it fall off? When do the people get worse?
Gamrot,
No.
Paddy,
Jesus Christ,
Beneil
no.
Dariush,
God damn.
Renato,
Fuck.
Fiziev,
Fazeev, no.
Benoit Saint Denis,
Sure.
Grant Dawson.
Give him. Oh, fuck. That dude's got.
I mean, dude, even Grant Dawson at 14 is like a dog,
Yeah, man. All right, maybe you should call it. Everybody's good.
right? I
The
mean,
UFC's so fucking good.
send him up to
Who's 15?
15 is Joel Alvarez.
Is Chandler not ranked now?
Chandler is not ranked. Or no, he is. He's 12.
Who's
Yeah.
13? Who's behind?
13, Benoit Saint Denis.
Fucking A, man.
That's not a good fight for him.
No.
That's what I mean. And I
You know what they should do? They should have him fight Pitbull in the UFC.
Megan O'Leary.
They should have him fight Megan O'Leary.
I think she'd give him a fight.
That's crazy. Hey, all right, whatever.
She's his size. And that's not a knock on Megan O'Leary, by the way. Beautiful Megan O'Leary.
It is.
Or maybe he should fight Joseph. Bring Joseph out of retirement.
Who's Joseph?
Megan's husband.
Benavidez?
Yeah. I'll fight Chandler.
You'll fight Chandler?
I'll fight Chandler.
Dude, that is a terrible. Chandler's terrifying. He's gonna fucking blitz at you so fast.
I think he would roll his ankle. At this point, he would find a way
That's
to.
crazy.
I'm getting a little blasphemy.
Yeah,
right now.
you're wild, dude. I'm about to go down to Killcliff, like in 2 weeks. Hopefully, I see him. I'm taking a picture, and
Take a picture.
I'm tagging you in it.
By the way, I forgot. I got on the highway. I was like, "Fuck!" I wanted to bring the Rumble Time. Before you head down to Killcliff, you got to have a Rumble Time shirt. You got to go down there wearing a Rumble Time.
Oh, I will.
Shirt.
Yeah, I will. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going down there the 12th of May.
Yeah, I know. I mean, bunch of dude. We'll have to talk about it. Like, a bunch of guys. I think Corey Peacock is still there doing a lot of the strength and conditioning stuff for them. Henry was always a great guy. He was a coffee drinker. So
I think I will bringing it back to Michael Chandler one more time.
Yeah.
One, he's a wrestler, so I'm always going to be in that fraternity, and I'm always going to argue with him. Even like person I don't like to wrestle, Henry Cejudo. I think he's very cringy, like about as cringy as they get. But I will always kind of root for him because he wrestled. So me and Chandler in that fraternity, right? He also was a walk-on, which he says all the time, right? Where I also was in that, right? So I'm always going to root for him there. And he also now is signed with my management. So I just I'm always going to root for him. And he's just like, he's a tough, gritty dude. He got everything out the mud. He wasn't like gifted anything other than like that, he's athletic, but like he worked for everything. He was in Bellator. He wasn't an undefeated Bellator fighter, right? He had to work back from some holes there. You want to watch one of the best fights? I think it's him and Eddie Alvarez in Bellator. It's one of the best fights of all time.
Back in his prime.
Chandler's also just like game, dude. He will fight anybody and he will sprint at them. And he's a good fighter. He seems like a great dude. I just can't deal with all the memes it's a lot. It's getting a lot of memes.
Yeah, no, he is.
It's mean. I don't like it. But Paddy the Baddy, he's top
Future
tier.
champ, I think.
So Paddy's one of the dudes that I think can be champ because I think he still has a lot of holes in his game and can develop.
A lot of upside.
A lot of upside. He wrestled offensively for the first time, which I think is big.
And his stardom isn't manufactured.
No, it's just natural.
Which is a value because I do think, and I think Chandler's guilty of this, but not just so many people. Bryce Mitchell, we just talked about. When you have to when you actually have to take brain power to manufacture and sustain a personality, Colby, all these people, as opposed to Paddy,
got it.
He's just like, I don't fucking care about any of this stuff. But it's like that is actually what other people are trying to divert energy to create a persona like Paddy, and it's just him. So it's like he can focus solely on fighting, not give a fuck, and still have the massive appeal. And I think that was a part of Conor too. And then Conor got so big, then it became, I have to sustain the persona
to make money.
But I love Paddy, and I think I think you will see him in a title fight for sure. Whether he wins it,
I agree. I hope they. God, he has so much. How old is he? He's 30. He's 30. I looked it up.
Yeah.
I see him being champ at some point. I do. I just think he has a lot of ways that he can get better, which like that's not a bad thing. People hear that and they're like, that's a bad thing. I'm saying dude is already top 10 in the UFC and he can get a shit ton better. That is good. That's a great thing. That means your talent has gotten you this far, your hype has gotten you this far, and you still have a lot of areas you can improve, right? And I don't think I think he can still fight these guys without these skills. If he develops these skills, I actually think he could be champion, especially if Islam leaves the weight class.
Well, if there was one way that Michael Chandler was going to win that fight, it was going to be outstriking Paddy.
Yes.
And it didn't. Paddy's striking looked sharp, but he looked like he could take a baseball bat to the chin. His
Well,
chin,
he used to, when he would back up, he used to float. Like his chin would float away like this, and he would kind of get that, oh shit, like
yeah,
I don't want to strike. Um, but he didn't have that this fight. Like he was keeping his length good. Whoever was in his corner that said do calf kicks to keep him from blitzing, genius. Chandler's had trouble with calf kicks because he keeps a lot of weight on his front foot because that's how he fights. He's gonna blitz you at some point.
mhm.
And it just, dude, it was a perfect fight from Paddy. Like I don't
Chandler
think he
should
could have done
fight
better.
Donald Cerrone. Um,
That's actually
like let those two
that's
guys
a
go
good
in there.
call.
They can both take all the
Jim
care they
Miller.
want. Jim Miller,
Chandler versus Jim Miller.
Chandler's too explosive.
Chandler versus Jim Miller, retirement fight for both of them. So
Okay,
I like that
I
fight.
like it. Volk,
Volk,
Volk's back.
Volk's a winner. Volk knows how to win.
He looked great,
Yeah.
both physically, looked like a different person, and the
Yeah.
skills are
And he battled
ever
through
apparent.
adversity, which I think everybody was worried about. I had it 1-1 heading into the third because I thought Volk won every single minute of the second round and then got dropped. And I was like, I guess we give that to Lopez.
Mhm. I had it
And
4-1.
yeah, the second, did you give to Lopez? You might have gave the fourth to Lopez or the third,
The third round to
A lot of
Lopez.
people, so little Isaac, right? He's a big Lopez fan. And he was convinced that Lopez won this fight. And I
What?
don't think that you could
What?
I had it at best for Lopez. I had him losing 3-2 to Volk. I had Volk.
That's generous.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
that's generous.
I thought Lopez might have stole the second by dropping him. He dropped him.
Yes. Okay.
Legit dropped him.
I could see,
And then I thought he won the third round.
I could see that. I could definitely see 3-2, but like a clear 3-2, not like a ooh, is it a 2-2? Who's getting that third? It was like a clear 3-2. I had it 4-1. I thought Volk, there was just, you could tell, man. Diego looked frustrated. He looked a little lost. He didn't have answers for a whole lot of it. And you could tell as the fourth round started to get like midway through the fourth round, he started to, especially as Volk was moving around, didn't want to engage a whole lot. I've seen people posting memes of like, it may
Him
have been
running away.
Kyle, like,
Kyle, yeah.
and, like I get
Kyle
it.
gonna Kyle.
I get it. I get it. But you could see Lopez knew, like, fuck, man, like
Yeah.
this is a different
Well, it's just
level.
like, yeah, so Lopez is one of those guys that I think can be champion. He just needs to like, do different things.
That
Like
was his Sean
he needs
Brady
to
to
get a little
Bilal
bit
moment
better.
right there.
Yeah, I
You know?
agree. And at the highest level, so I think if we're matching stuff, I don't know who Volk fights for the belt, but I think Lopez Yair. Volk's the champ. Give him who are the other contenders?
So
You know who's a sneaky one? They probably have to win another fight. Is Brian Ortega? If oh wait, no, he
he's
got fucked up
seventh.
by Lopez.
Yeah. He's seventh. I mean,
Because
you've got
Volk had his toughest fight against Ortega, other than the ones
yeah, I mean, you've got Max.
you
I
can't
don't
do
want
that
to see
again.
that again.
I think Max is gonna fight Poirier. I think that's like
Mhm.
they kind of agreed on
I
both
don't
sides.
think Diego did enough. Sorry, Isaac. I don't think he did enough even for an immediate rematch.
Oh
I
fuck
think
no.
Diego and you got to make the Diego
Diego Yair,
Yair.
dude, I'm so in for that.
And then you've got Ilya. I don't want to see Ilya and Volk again.
No, I don't
And
think
he's
Ilya's
not,
going down to
he's
45.
moving up anyways.
I don't think
Yeah.
he's gonna go back down.
So you've got Mozar, I don't know how to say his last name. Evlavov, Mavsar.
Maybe him.
He's 4. And then you've
I think
got
Volk should
Lerone Murphy.
Lauren Murphy or Lauren. All right. Here's what I think should happen.
But
I think
then
Volk
there's another guy in here though
ugh,
who I think is fucking tough as shit and just not exciting. He reminds me of somebody that was in like 4-H club in high school. Arnold Allen.
oh yeah.
Arnold Allen is a tough motherfucker.
He's good. I mean, I just like I think he's one of those guys who's gonna stay around that part of the rankings that he's always in. He'll beat
5 or
somebody.
6.
Yeah. He's good. He's talented. I think
Arnold
Volk
Allen.
shouldn't fight for a little while. I think he should kind of like enjoy being like he should be the champ, and let the contenders
dish it out. I think Yair and Diego should fight. I think Aaron Pico should fight um, Mozart, and I think winner of like whoever looks
So
the
you're
best.
looking at a Pico versus Volk clash in the near future before Volk leaves.
Yeah, if Volk's still champ, I don't know. I don't know if Volk will still be champ then. I could see Volk picked apart Yair. I don't know. Volk's a good
So
dude. I don't fucking
Arnold
know.
Allen lost to Evlovov or that guy,
Yeah.
but he beat. Oh, he lost to Max Holloway
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
he got
I forgot
teed up
about
by
that.
Max.
So yeah,
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the biggest fight I'm looking forward to, Machado Gary versus Prates.
yes.
That fight's crazy. That's
Machado
next
Gary
weekend.
has. I've done a 180 on that dude.
Yeah, me
Done a
too.
180.
I
I
love him.
actually think
I like his
after
personality too.
after
He
his
seems like
Jobcott fight, I was like,
dude,
okay.
he's so game to fight anybody. The fact that he's fighting, he does not need to fight Prates.
Well, I mean, he's probably fighting 3 or 4 times a week, living in a house with his wife's ex.
Fuck.
I mean, dude.
God damn it, dude. This dude might be at Killcliff too. I'm
You're
not
gonna
posting
get
this
you're
podcast.
gonna get run out of the gym.
Yeah. All right.
These views are not endorsed by Lucas
Yeah.
Steel City
Yeah.
Seibert.
100%
They're his
not.
asshole co-hosts who
Yeah. I think I like Ian Gary. I always kind of like them. I have this thing where I like people that people don't like.
Mhm.
And I've always kind of been a fan of him. And yeah, I think his skill level is way fucking better than people think. I think his wrestling's pretty decent.
Yeah.
He's got this weird, I don't even know how to explain it. He's like got this like his kicks since he's like very dexterous with his legs, but it shows in his grappling too, where he's like kind of like I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, no, there's like a weird fluidity
Yeah,
to the way
and
that he
it's
moves.
almost like it seems like there's not much strength behind it, but he just like takes your back,
Mhm.
or he can like get in on a double leg and like his butt can be below his head and he'll still figure out how to finish it. Like he's got this weird just kind of like shape of his
Yeah,
body.
yeah, Gumby.
Gumby, that's kind of
I
what
like
I'm
him though.
for.
I think oh, it'll be awesome, dude. You're gonna get to hopefully see a lot of great looks, and that'll be a good opportunity for you down there. It's a great
What at
gym,
Killcliff?
Killcliff.
Yeah, Gary probably won't be there. Hopefully, I'm hoping dude, there's an LFA card tonight. I would almost spot on.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of the guys from Killcliff are on that card. Mitch McKee, Jordan Oliver,
Mhm.
who's like my favorite wrestler when I was a kid. A lot of tough guys. So if you're like, well, I mean, I guess this will be posted way after, but like that's those are the up and comers. A lot of people from my management are on it. It's in South Dakota.
Okay.
So it's a big card. I'm excited
What
for
time's
that.
that start?
I think like 6, maybe.
I'm taking the son to his first concert this weekend.
Oh Jesus, what is it?
Metallica, Pantera.
Christ, bro.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, we're leaving tonight. We're gonna head to Bradford.
It's an Erie.
It's in Syracuse. So
Oh, okay.
I bought a ticket for him and for my dad. So it'll be 3 generations. We're gonna go up, catch out the show. We're gonna drive up. I'm gonna drive to Bradford tonight. We're gonna stay over, pick up my dad in the morning.
How old's your dad?
My dad is 61.
So you got a 61-year-old, what, 4 or 5-year-old?
5.
5-year-old in Hendrix. And how old are you?
I am 38.
30. Why did it take you longer to figure out how old you were than your
I
dad?
stopped counting after 35.
I don't know my dad's age.
Really? I know my dad was born in 63, so
Mine was born in 67. That's how I do the math. I have to do the
Yeah.
math for that one.
Like
But you got a 5-year-old, a 38-year-old, and a 61-year-old.
yeah. And my
Going to a
dad,
Metallica
so my
concert.
dad saw Metallica open for a festival in Buffalo at the Bill Stadium, what was called Rich Stadium at the time, in 1984, maybe 85.
Damn,
So like fucking 40 years ago.
that's fun, man.
And then I
So-
saw Metallica front row at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia in 2010, 2011.
Now Hendrick's
And
going to
now
be able to
Hendrick
say
is
the
going to be
same
able to
thing.
go. His very first concert. Metallica, Pantera, and Suicidal Tendencies. And so he's got a jean jacket that we've put all kinds of patches. So we've got like the Metallica patch on the back, a Pantera patch, and a Suicidal Tendencies patch. And he's wanted to wear it to school so many times. And I'm like, you cannot wear this to school. And he's like, why? And I'm like,
You're like,
I don't want to say
because I'm a bad dad.
this patch right here, but I was grappling like, do
I
I
mean,
give
honestly,
a
at the
5-year-old
school you go to, you'd probably be able to.
yeah, I probably would. I don't want to like promote to a
Yeah.
5-year-old like suicidal tendencies, although like
Well, it's like
he loves Jay Weinberg, their drummer, who
okay.
is his dad's Max Weinberg from Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band.
Okay.
And then Jay was the drummer of Metallica or of Slipknot for a decade.
I know
And
Slipknot.
Hendrix got big into Slipknot early on and got Jay Weinberg to send him
Dude,
a
this is
poster.
hilarious.
So it's like he's obsessed. We were trying to meet Jay Weinberg before the concert, but he's not able to connect with us. So, long story short, it's going to be a good time. I'm going to take him up there, but I wanted to catch the fights tonight because him and I will just be hanging out back
Oh
home.
yeah, you should. You
Like,
should let. I got some calls and stuff I got to do, but the Jordan Oliver fight's really exciting. The Mitch McKee fight's exciting. There's some big ones on there. But yeah, man, that's wild that he's going to that concert. My first concert was Hannah Montana and the Jonas Brothers.
the Jonas Bros.
But yeah, man, that's fucking sick. Give him the dopest experiences
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It'll be a good time. Mom's not happy that we're going to be gone
for Easter. Yeah, that's wild.
I didn't realize that when I bought the tickets.
Yeah, Easter snuck up. I feel like it was like it's on 420, right? Let's start there. I got the Luke the chef seminar tomorrow. And then Kyle fights.
Mm-hmm.
And then Easter, I'm going up to my family's the following week.
Nice.
But yeah, man, it's got some cool shit coming up. I'm gonna be competing in some grappling matches, some fight to win matches, maybe some bigger stuff as well. I gotta keep that on the DL, but I got offered like a huge opportunity, which I immediately said yes to. Just waiting on the other end of that, and then hoping to be fighting in LFA in June. Waiting on opponents for that as well. So
I can't wait, dude. I every day I'm like, please don't let this fall through. Please don't let this fall.
Oh, it's not. I mean, we got plenty of time. And I'm fighting June 20th.
I love it.
Yeah, I can't wait. All right, brother. Appreciate it.